Reject feminism. Submit to your husband, Taylor. You're not in charge.
Taylor Swift broke the internet by announcing her engagement, and some MAGA influencers just had to make it weird. We're going to break this down, plus so much more, on today's episode of the Brad vs. Everyone podcast, our daily show where we take on the craziest ideas from across the internet, our media, and our politics, all from an independent perspective. Up first, guys, it's the big story of the day. I'm trying really hard to care about it, but I just really don't. And that is that Taylor Swift has announced her engagement to Travis Kelce, the football player. And for a lot of people, this is like their Super Bowl. This is like a big deal. This is kind of a national holiday for them. And I don't begrudge them that. I just am not particularly a diehard Swiftie or anything like that. So I kind of shrugged at it. But here is the reporting of this momentous occasion in American history from NBC News.
Look, Emily, this feels like manifestation at its peak because Taylor has been singing about love and a football player, I feel like, since we were teens.
Well, in the words of Taylor Swift, drop everything now, but this is major breaking news we're talking about. It's anything anyone is talking about, really, in this building. Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce, they've been dating for about 2 years. They started dating over the course of her record-breaking Eras tour, and now they're engaged. You look at those photos they shared on Instagram, really an ethereal vibe. There's the beautiful ring. They're surrounded by a lot of flowers. And she captioned it, "Your English teacher and your gym teacher are getting married." One of my favorite parts about this all is the song that accompanied the post. It's So High School, which is largely said to be written and inspired by Travis Kelce. She released it during the course of the Eras tour, and she performed on the Eras tour. She does this kind of like signature motion here that mirrors Travis Kelce, what he does on the field. So there's some parallels there. So it's always fun. And you know how she loves to leave the Easter eggs. People are saying, my stomach dropped. I got phone calls. I pulled over. I had to catch my breath because people are that cued into their relationship.
I want to show you guys a funny clip that actually kind of sums up like how I react to this and how I think most everyday people probably would react to this. Take a look at this.
What?
Taylor Swift got engaged.
Okay.
That's it.
Woo!
Hey, Chaz. Did you hear?
What?
Taylor Swift got engaged.
With who?
Travis
That,
Kelce.
okay. What do you want me to do about it?
What's up?
Taylor Swift got engaged.
Congratulations.
Hear what?
Travis Kelce got engaged.
What? No.
Well, last guy for you, dude.
Fuck! No!
What?
Did you hear?
Hear what?
T Swift got engaged.
I could give a fuck less. Good care.
What's up, bro?
Did you hear Taylor Swift got engaged?
Who?
Taylor Swift?
Engaged?
Yeah.
Okay. To who?
What?
To who?
Travis Kelce.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
What?
Did you hear?
Did I hear what?
Taylor Swift got engaged.
Who gives a fuck?
So that's me. But that's not everyone. Some people were joyous. Some people were like angry or enraged or immediately politicized this in weird ways, like we're going to get to Charlie Kirk. But even Trump got asked about it, and his response was, for him, surprisingly magnanimous. Take a listen to him.
The biggest pop culture news of the year broke while we were in this cabinet meeting. Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are engaged, and the world wants your reaction, sir.
Well, I wish him a lot of luck.
Oh.
No, I think it's. I think he's a great player. I think he's a great guy, and I think that she's a terrific person. So I wish them a lot of luck.
So, guys, now we're going to get to the part where this story gets weird, because some people just had to make it weird. Chief among them, MAGA superstar and influencer Charlie Kirk, who made some eyebrow-raising comments about Taylor Swift that we're going to take a look at after this. Bitcoin's value has been growing for years, but getting started can feel daunting. The good news is that today's sponsor, Coinbits, makes it as simple as grabbing your morning cup of coffee. With roundups, all you have to do is link your cards and accounts to Coinbits, and every time you buy something, they'll round up your purchase to the nearest dollar and invest that spare change into Bitcoin for you. It's that easy. No complicated setup, just set it and let it grow. It only takes 3 minutes to sign up, and you can watch your Bitcoin investments grow without a noticeable impact to your budget. Plus, your Bitcoin is truly yours and can be withdrawn to your wallet at any time. And Coinbits is proudly family owned, based right here in America, and offers top-tier customer support. So if you're ready to start stacking Bitcoin effortlessly, go to coinbits.app/Brad and get started today. That's the link on screen or linked in the description. Just a quick disclaimer, this is not financial advice, and always remember to do your own research. And now let's get back to the show. Okay, guys, so we're going to take this in a couple parts here, what Charlie Kirk had to say about Taylor Swift's engagement to Travis Kelce, because it started out like, okay, a little odd, but then by the end was very weird, very strange. Okay, so let's look at this first clip.
But maybe one of the reasons why Taylor Swift has been so just kind of annoyingly liberal over the last couple of years is that she's not yet married and she doesn't have children. I say this non-sarcastically.
So Charlie had to instantly politicize this, and I actually don't think it makes a lot of sense. I think Taylor is liberal because she inhabits a liberal industry and because she is a cosmopolitan and an urbanite. And it's definitely true that some people, as they get married and have kids, become more conservative, but a lot of times they just don't actually. Lots of liberals and progressives and Democratic voters have children and families and are married. And so it really actually doesn't tell you very much politically. So we're already reaching here, Charlie, really reaching. Let's continue.
Taylor Swift might go from a cat lady to a J.D. Vance supporter. And I think we should celebrate that. I think that Taylor Swift having 2 or 3 children, she should have more children than she has houses. That is my challenge, Taylor Swift. And I'm not being sarcastic. I think that if she ends up having children, she'll stop this kind of liberal endorsing Joe Biden nonsense. And we want Taylor Swift on Team America. We want you to leave the island of the wokies. And we would welcome you with open arms. One of the reasons why so many people on the right have been just skeptical or at least a little bit negative on Taylor Swift is up until this point, that's not a great role model for young women to wait all the way until you're 35 and just put your career first. We just talked about this with Katie Miller. However, there's a great chance to change that.
So, Charlie, this is me betting you that Taylor Swift will not, in fact, become a J.D. Vance supporter. I could be wrong. Crazier things in the world have happened, but that seems pretty darn unlikely to me. And just because she has kids does not mean, if she even has kids, we don't even know if they're going to, does not mean she will instantly stop being a liberal. That's not a thing. Most people, that isn't what happens. And I can't be the only one who found it a little odd how like many conservatives immediately started thinking about her popping out a bunch of children. Like, I don't really care. If she wants kids, great. She should have a couple kids. If she doesn't, okay. So, like, why is this so important? I've seen people suggest there will be like a baby boom if Taylor Swift has children. And I could be wrong, but I think there will not be a statistically significant change in the U.S. birth rate based on Taylor Swift having a baby. I could be wrong. Crazier things have happened, but I'm pretty skeptical of that idea. And then I don't agree with this idea that he suggests that we want her on Team America. Politics is not as simple as Republicans love America and Democrats hate America. Obviously, I lean a little bit more to the right politically, though I'm an independent these days, but I know people left, right, and center who genuinely love our country and have their best interests in heart, have the best interests of our country at heart. And so I really hate that idea that this kind of, you hear it from the left all the time where they say, oh, Republicans are all just bad and evil. Well, oh, Democrats are against America. Some are, sure, but many are not. And I don't think there's any reason to believe that Taylor Swift is anti-America just because she endorsed Joe Biden or Kamala or whatever. So far, a little bit of cringe, some commentary I don't quite agree with, but this final clip of Charlie is where things get genuinely weird. Take a listen.
This is something that I hope will make Taylor Swift more conservative. Engage in reality more and get outside of the abstract clouds. Reject feminism. Submit to your husband, Taylor. You're not in charge. And most importantly, I can't wait to go to a Taylor Kelsey concert. I can't say it without laughing. You got to change your name. If not, you don't really mean it. Congratulations, Taylor.
Anyone else feel a little uncomfy right now? I did not need Charlie Kirk staring into the camera and telling Taylor Swift to submit to your husband, Taylor. Like, oh? I understand that that's part of like traditionalist Christian wedding vows, but most people these days do not view marriage as a woman submitting to the leadership of her husband. And I have a feeling that Taylor, like many people, will view it as a partnership. And she may change her name, she may not. She might also change her name, but then still go by Taylor Swift for like entertainment purposes and her public persona, which I think is totally fine. I like the idea of changing your name when you get married, but if you want to continue to use the brand that you've built publicly, great. Why wouldn't you? It doesn't mean you're not committed to your marriage. And I'm sorry, but there's something incredibly strange and off-putting about this certain kind of male conservative commentary where they're like instantly seeing a woman get married and they're like, submit to your man. Your husband's in charge now. It's weird. It gives very strange energy. And I'm telling you right now, that repulses women, many women, especially younger women, from conservatism or from a Republican message, because it sounds like you genuinely view women as beneath you or as like, oh, a second class of citizen, or they just need to shut up and do what men tell them. It gives anti-feminist in the way that actually matters, not in like the, oh, you're not woke, but in the way that you think women are an underclass to men. And again, I really have no issue if in your personal marriage you have this like submissive, dominant arrangement. Knock yourself out. I probably don't need to hear you talk about it. I don't really want to be included in the conversation on that. But regardless, yeah, like if that's your traditionalism, that's your values, great. It is weird to instantly see someone else get married and be like, submit, Taylor. Like, I'm sorry. It's weird. It makes me uncomfy. And I heard from a lot of right-leaning women who agreed with me when I posted about this on X. Bridget Fetisi, the comedian, wrote about Charlie. I am once again begging conservative pundits to stop sounding like a bunch of weirdos and go have a drink with some normal dudes at the bar. Yeah, I agree with this. I don't know, but call me crazy, but I don't think most men speak about their wives as, yes, she submits to me. I am the alpha. I also feel like if you have to constantly announce that you're the leader, you might not actually be the leader. Just saying. My friend Mary Catherine Ham, who is a Fox News contributor, she wrote on X that this is tiresome rage bait. One of the best things about Kelsey is that he is so demonstrably unthreatened by her, referring to Taylor. He spends his life being a modern gladiator, accomplishing feats of manly strength and courage and being a Super Bowl champion. He's good. It's a great compliment to her. I agree with this. I think that it actually speaks well to Travis Kelce's character as a man, that he doesn't feel so threatened and insecure by the fact that Taylor is a bigger star than him or that she is so world famous or anything like that. He doesn't need her to submit and just become Travis Kelce's wife or anything like that. That's not the vibe I get. And far from it from being some sort of betrayal of the purpose of marriage, like Charlie seems to suggest, I actually think that's nice. I think that's a good modern relationship dynamic and it's perfectly fine. And that when people like Charlie Kirk do this, they come off as strange. That's my take, and I'm sticking to it. But you guys can let me know what you think in the comments below. Do make sure you're subscribed. Hit that like button while you're at it. And remember to send in your voicemails for my Voicemail Friday episodes where I react to your woke horror stories. I give you advice on personal life situations and scenarios, and I answer any questions you guys have for me. The link, as always, to send one of those in is in the description. Up next, we're going to talk about a scandal taking over the magazine Vanity Fair, which I cannot say I'm a regular reader of. I'm not really that kind of gay. I'm pretty gay, but not really that kind of gay. But anyway, Vanity Fair apparently still exists, is still a thing, and it's embroiled in kind of an internal scandal, a civil war, if you will, over Melania Trump, because apparently the new editor of Vanity Fair wants to put her on the cover, or at least floated the idea, and was quickly met with a revolt from woke staffers threatening to quit in protest. Take a listen to this from Fox News.
Reports suggest its new boss is potentially interested in featuring Melania as liberal outlets shift to woo the administration. Melania was excluded from the nation's fashion magazines, including Vogue and Vanity Fair, during her first time in the White House, despite previous First Lady features. Michelle Obama was on 12 magazine covers during her 8 years as the First Lady, including 3 times on the cover of Vogue. But now this potential move has employees of the famed fashion magazine losing their minds, with some threatening to quit if the First Lady is granted a spot on the cover.
I mean, you got to see what this says. I will walk out of this blank door, half my staff. This, according to who is a mid-level editor, we're not going to normalize that despot and his wife. So that's the attitude of the people you hire. I would say, listen, if you're going to walk out because you don't like my cover, you don't understand who the boss is, you should leave.
She's the Vogue before she became First Lady.
And fashion she's at the top of the fashion industry and has been for decades. But I love that this editor says that, and she speaks with her clothes in a way that, like, I don't get clothes, but she speaks and, like, I look at her clothes and I'm like, oh wow, that's a statement.
And she speaks how many languages? She's
5
smart.
languages, right? But I love that this editor says, if I have to work bagging groceries at Trader Joe's, I'll do it. I would far rather work at Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's is a great place to work, I think.
It's fun to shop.
They're always very friendly.
The quotes from the reporting about this are really quite something. So, reading from the Post Millennial here, this is one of the staffers speaking. We are not going to normalize this despot and his wife. We're just not going to do it. We're going to stand for what's right. If I have to work bagging groceries at Trader Joe's, I'll do it. If Gudici, the editor, puts Melania on the cover, half of the editorial staff will walk out. I guarantee it, the staffer, who remained anonymous, said. Another employee, though, offered a different perspective and said it's all talk. If they put her on the cover, people will protest and gripe about it, but I don't see anyone quitting such a prestigious job over that. Honestly, there will be people who push back, but ultimately it's Mark's decision. He's the one who will sink or swim over that choice, not the rest of us. There are so many layers to this controversy, I guess you have to call it, that are so ridiculous and so antithetical to journalism. I also love the casual elitism, as if these Vanity Fair writers just think they're above the plebs who bag groceries at Trader Joe's. I actually appreciate them and respect the work they do, and I acknowledge that it's important. And I don't think I'm better than them just because I work on a laptop and they work at a grocery store counter. But that is absolutely how many mainstream media figures feel. They got some fancy degree where they've, frankly, was probably a joke anyway, and they work at one of these elite institutions and they look down on working class Americans so much that they use them as an example of what they would do if they took a brave, bold stand. Yeah, because the Trump administration is really never going to recover from Vanity Fair staffers walking out over a magazine cover. It's like, do these people think the self-importance is so unreal? Maybe Vanity Fair used to be very relevant, used to be like a big deal. It's certainly not anymore in the modern culture or the modern cultural zeitgeist. So for these people to think they're like doing their big one, oh, we'll all walk out. Oh no, how would Melania ever recover? How would President Trump's administration continue without your support? Like, they really think they're so important, even though they're literally irrelevant. It's almost funny. But I actually agree with the second guy. I think you might get a couple like true believers who would storm out. And as far as I'm could see it, I would say, don't let the door hit you. Please go. But I bet a lot of them would just complain about it and stick around because they don't want to give up their cushy jobs. That's what I suspect. That's my working theory on that. And what I'll say is this as well. Not for me to speak on style or anything like that. I mean, my boyfriend literally, when we got together, he had to slowly start disappearing my outfits and replacing them with new clothes because they looked bad. like some of my old friends that I have from before we started dating six years ago. Literally, we joke about it because I used to wear the same like 3 things, like the same ratty blue and gray Under Armour sweatshirt that could always pick me out of a crowd. And what my boyfriend did is like, I don't know, 6 months or a year into dating, he just was doing my laundry and they disappeared and I didn't notice. And then like a year later, I'm like, hey, where's my sweatshirt? And he's like, yeah, I threw that out last February. So far from me to speak on style or to claim any sort of expertise in this. But I kind of think that the same way Vanity Fair and these other magazines have put like all the other modern first ladies on the cover, Melania is actually pretty darn stylish and kind of glorious and rather glamorous, that is. And I think she's kind of iconic. Obviously, I'm pretty critical of Trump, but I actually like her. And I think I don't see any reason she's like a bad first lady or anything like that. Wasn't she a supermodel? I mean, so the idea that she shouldn't be on the front of cover of Vanity Fair when the other first ladies who don't have her background in, modeling and glamour and all this stuff. Again, I'm way out of my lane here, but I'm saying seems pretty clear to me she belongs on the cover as well. If they always put the first lady on the cover, why wouldn't they do it for her? Unless, of course, they think that like you don't count, you're not the first lady. If the writers at Vanity Fair don't agree with your husband's politics, it just doesn't even make any sense. Your job is to like represent American fashion and discourse, and the first lady is a big part of that, whether you like them or not. So what's crazy about this is like they could even do a cover and then have the story be like critical or skeptical in some way, but these people really object to even acknowledging the existence of culturally significant conservative people, in this case, women, in a way that I find really bizarre and incredibly arrogant. Like Melania is still more relevant than every single one of you times 1,000 combined, yet they think, well, we won't bestow upon her the gift of Vanity Fair coverdom because she is part of the bad people. She probably wouldn't even do it at this point, if we're so honest. Like, this whole story assumes she would do it, which I don't even know that she would, but they're so presumptuous. They're so arrogant, and they fundamentally just reek of disdain for the country whose citizens rely on to keep their business running. I think this story is wild, and I think that it kind of perfectly encapsulates the rot of mainstream and establishment media that has led to its demise. Other than that, though, they're doing great over at Vanity Fair. Okay, one final story to talk about today. Fat positivity TikTok, that is. They're not happy. They're very upset with a certain celebrity and superstar athlete, Serena Williams, the legendary tennis player, because she dared do a commercial promoting GLP-1s, those medications that millions of people are taking to get healthier and lose weight and feel better about themselves and solve their health issues. That is evil and dastardly thing to do in the mind of these fat positivity activists that somehow still have these large presences on TikTok. Anyway, I'm going to show you the commercial first that she did for Ro, which, by the way, Ro, hit me up, sponsor me. I would love to promote some anti-body positivity medications. Hit me up. Anyway, Serena Williams did this collaboration with Ro. Here's that commercial that has certain sectors of the internet up in arms.
Yes, I'm on Ro. They say GLP-1s for weight loss is a shortcut. It's not. It's science. After kids, it's the medicine my body needed. GLP-1s helped me lose 31 pounds. One app to hit my goals. This is healthcare. This is Ro. I'm Serena Williams, and I'm a real Ro member.
Now, guys, prepare yourself, because we're going to react to some TikToks that I compiled, and it's some of the most unhinged discourse I have seen in a minute. It's giving Sydney Sweeney, actually, like that whole dumb controversy, but honestly, this might be like even less reasonable than the people who crashed out over that. Let's listen to this first clip.
First of all, I want to acknowledge my privileges. I'm a thin white woman. I can't even pretend to know what it's like for a Black woman or Black women in larger bodies to understand the discrimination, the oppression that they go through. I can't pretend to know that. But what I can do is I can state my thoughts and opinions as someone who supports people in making peace with food and their body in all size bodies, right? That's where I'm coming from. If she can't accept her body, this is where I think of everyone else that like internalizes that. And it's like, how do any of us stand a chance? If the greatest of all time can't accept her body, how do we stand a chance?
Oh my gosh, guys. I'm so sorry. I forgot to start this segment with a disclaimer about my privilege as a white, able-bodied, cisgendered, I almost said heterosexual because that's the part of the buzzword, but not quite that part, white male who occupies a body of thinness, who suffers from extreme pretty privilege. Oh my gosh, how exhausting it must be to go through the world like this, constantly flagellating yourself for your immutable characteristics and suggesting that your opinion or perspective is somehow less valid. Absolutely wild. But also, I love this woman. She's like a, I don't know, pro-fat activist or whatever on TikTok. She's like, I help people feel comfortable in their bodies at any size. Sorry, but morbidly obese people, for their own sake and their own health, you shouldn't be helping them become content with their bodies. You should be helping them change their bodies and improve their health. You should never bully people, never shame people. That's not a good thing to do. It's not even productive. It doesn't even help. Probably often makes the problem worse. But you shouldn't be helping people become comfortable in unhealthy states that are bad for them mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, and beyond. So kind of crazy. And I think she's taking the absolute wrong message from the actual commercial. The message is that, like, look, I'm Serena Williams and I had a couple kids and I had trouble losing weight and I needed help. There's no shame in needing help. Even someone like me needed help to be healthier. And so I took GLP-1s and you can too. Check now with Ro to get your coverage, whatever. That's not a bad message. That's a good message. You're helping people get healthier. What's wrong with that? That seems like great to me. I would give her a round of applause for that, but maybe that's my white, able-bodied, thin privilege showing or something. I don't know. Let's look at the next clip.
Cults love to keep people skinny. Serena Williams has been sharing her journey with GLP-1s and promoting the telehealth company Ro that her husband is an investor in. People really feel like this is a return to conservative values and a sign that thin is in is very much a thing again.
Did this woked up lady really just say wanting to be thin and fit and healthy is conservative values? You are not doing your side of favors, love. You're like owning yourself. You're saying that being fat and unhealthy is like liberal values or progressive values. Are you sure that's what you want to go with? You're going to stick to that one. I don't know what to say. And they keep bringing up this point. Oh, her husband is an investor in the company, so they profit off of it. So they literally just think profit equals bad. Profit can be bad if you're like exploiting someone or harming someone or defrauding people. But if you are providing access to a product that makes people healthier and happier, and you're making money off of that, that is called a win-win. There's no shame in that. Oh, she's making money off of it. Great. I hope she gets a bag and helps America get healthier in the process. Sounds great to me. They really are not coping well on TikTok with this development. Take a look at this next video.
The mask is off. We have officially stopped pretending it's really just about health. And now weight loss drugs are being promoted by an extremely fit, extremely accomplished professional athlete. We're in a very hopeless moment and everyone's kind of given up on changing society. There were a lot of flaws with the body positivity movement. We all kind of realized that, I think. And ultimately, fat phobia was not defeated.
Why would we want to defeat fat phobia? That's not even a real thing. But to the extent that people are afraid of being fat, that makes sense because it's bad for you. And it contributes to all of the leading causes of death in America. So, but on her actual point that like, even Serena Williams, who is so fit, is taking it. No, that's not the point. The point went totally over their heads. Serena Williams talked about the fact that she lost 31 pounds. She had a fair amount of extra weight that she really struggled to lose after multiple pregnancies, and it was causing health issues. So she said in an interview with the Today Show that since starting the medication, she's already seen and felt her health improve. At a recent doctor's visit, she was told her blood sugar levels have normalized, and she says her joints feel lighter, like they're not taking as much of a load. She said, I had a lot of knee issues, especially after I had my kid, and I was never able to get to my normal levels of weight. Reflecting on her health goals when starting a GLP-1, she also points out that African Americans have an increased risk of diabetes. It's definitely around in my family, and I really just wanted to look deeper, she explains. Williams' hope for the multi-year campaign is to normalize use of GLP-1 medications for weight loss and help others live healthier lives. So she did have actual health issues. She did have weight to lose, and she's showing Americans, particularly women who look up to her, and maybe Black women who, again, these health issues are more prevalent in those communities. And if you really care about them, you should want them to do better and thrive, not try to normalize diabetes or whatever. And I think that's great. She was able to improve her health. So they're lying when they say it wasn't even about health because she needed it. No, the whole point is that she needed it. Now, the contrary thing, though, is that even if it wasn't about health, even if it was just wanting to look good and feel better about yourself, that's also fine and good to a point. Obviously, you can become too obsessed with totally unrealistic body standards, with, develop disorders and other such things. So obviously there's a limit to that. But just wanting to be slim and attractive and feel good about your body isn't bad. It's not. And these people seem to just assume that it is. Of course, they also had to make it about race because they just do that with everything always by default. Listen to this.
So if fat phobia is not a chronic issue in our society, then why does one of the greatest athletes of all time, of our generation, feel that she needs pharmaceutical intervention by way of a GLP-1 in order to lose weight and become skinny? What I hate about GLP-1s and the way that they're being used is that it seems like fatness is a universal problem that everyone should want to fix.
Yes, obesity is bad for you. So anyone who's obese should want to fix that. Are we just science deniers now? Total reality deniers? And it's wild because she just totally ignored the fact that Serena specifically did this in part to lower her blood sugar, avoid getting diabetes, which runs in her family, and because, as she talked about on the Today Show, she was having joint issues related to excessive body weight, that she had 31 pounds that she lost, that she struggled to lose without the medications after childbirth. All of that is totally valid. And just because you're triggered by it doesn't mean she did anything wrong at all. There's, of course, more.
Star athlete Serena Williams promoting a weight loss drug was certainly not on my 2025 bingo card, and frankly, I find it to be deeply unsettling. Before I say anything else, I want to admit that I don't really understand how GLP-1s work. I'm not educated on the subject.
Then shut up. Why are you speaking? I hate that they do this. TikTokers do this all the time. I'm not really educated on this, but... And then they keep talking. I don't fix my mouth to speak about things that I don't know anything about. Call me crazy. That's my personal strategy. And she admits she knows nothing about this subject, then also has some wild takes. Like this. Listen.
Yeah, it's bothersome. It's deeply bothersome. A rise in fat phobia within our culture does not just come with the normalization of internet subcultures like skinny talk. It also comes with bigotry, because at the end of the day, fat phobia isn't just a fear of being fat, it's a fear of the black body.
Oh? I love how we're conflating obesity with the black body. And these are the woke people. These are the anti-racists. Black people, I mean, there's some differences in bodies, of course, between races, but nothing about being black means your body is inherently fat or obese. Tons of white people are obese in this country. You ever been to a Cracker Barrel? It's not about black bodies, white bodies. Everybody should want to be a healthy weight, and it's an epidemic in America. But yet these people have tried to make it into some sort of marginalized identity in the intersectional oppression Olympics bullshit nonstop stuff that they pull. It's actually horrible. It's actually really, really bad for our country, and they're misleading people. Whereas Serena, is helping people get healthier and making a bag while she's at it. If you ask me, that's pretty badass. And that's something good, not something so problematic that it needs a whole TikTok discourse around it. That's my hot take. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Make sure you're subscribed if you aren't yet. Do hit that like button while you're at it. Remember to send in those voicemails for our Voicemail Friday episodes. And we'll talk again real soon.